Hey, this is Matt Boldy, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
Hey, this is Marcus Foligno, and you're listening to Locked On Wild.
You're Locked On Wild, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Wild. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. It is time once again for another live edition of What the Hell Are You Smoking? And there's a lot to talk about today. So I am going to hand it right over to the man behind the magic, Denny Barlow. Denny, good afternoon.
Hi, Seth, and welcome everybody to What the Hell Are You Smoking? First off, I want to address why I missed last week. And it's because I was a nervous wreck. I got, in the same day, I was told that my rent was doubling and that I had lost my food assistance. And, you know, I'm an old man and I don't have many places that I can move to that I can afford. And I was thinking I was getting kicked out, going to be homeless. And after a lot of confusion and everything, we got things straightened out. I don't have to move. My rent didn't double. And everything's good. But last week I was just a nervous wreck, and I think you can understand why. I wouldn't have been any good on the show. I wasn't good for anybody last week. So with that, moving on. Now, you know, my last show 2 weeks ago, I'm very impressed. I had 127 comments. And do you realize that's more comments than Judge gets with 38,000 subscribers? It's a new record for me, and I'm proud of it because you guys are now starting to get engaged. And that's what the show's all about. That's why it's live. And, of course, I got really beat up. But I want you to know I was the very first one to tell you how I saw it, and nobody could believe it. In fact, I want to go over one comment. I had a bunch I could pick from, but I'm only going to take one, and then we'll move on. This guy is 1-7 Lancel. He goes, one bad game, and Denny is saying things like, God help us, and Hynes has to go. Holy cow, man. Take a breath. Every other week. We don't need to hear this ridiculous comments from you. Which was pretty good. Well, there, Lancel, number 17. What are you thinking now? Just because I said it first? Because I'm sure you have changed your mind on the Wild since I brought that up. I mean, I can understand when people don't agree with me. I mean, I hope that happens. But, you know, to say take me off the show? Come on. You have to get used to it. I'm normally always right. And whether you like it or not, anybody who follows me knows this. And, of course, I had a lot of people step up to the plate in my defense, too. But, you know, when I talked about the team 2 weeks ago, it's because I looked at what we saw, what I saw, what we had. And there's no difference. You know, at the beginning of the season when nobody was playing yet, I was really hoping Hynes was going to play the kids. Oh, well, you know how that's worked out. Hynes looks for a reason not to play him, and then he ships them. And it was with the kids that I had hope. This team now, and you can all see it, they have a lack of talent big time. And if you go back 3 years of Billy's trades, 3 years, name me one good trade he's made in 3 years, in the last 3 years. There isn't any. Not one. We were hoping for Tarasenko, but as it turns out, you know, I held up my a reserve thought on him until I got to watch him play a few times. The problem with Tarasenko is he does not engage. You know, when I look at a player, I look at what he does without the puck. And that's how I gauge whether he's, you know, doing something or not doing something. creating chaos or just standing around. All he does is stand around. And at his age and with his knowledge of the game, he could be so much better. But he chooses not to do anything. You know, when you're a winger, especially second line, you have to look for ways to create havoc up front. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do anything really. He's kind of like Johansson on the other side. And that's why our second line is so potent.
Yesterday's game, Tarasenko had the one right in front of the net on the power play that he ended up sending over the net. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah.
Like you're within 5 feet of the net, dude. You got to find a way to get that puck in. But this is the encapsulation of the issues, and I would like to throw out there as well because I've had a few people say, of course, you're not going to criticize the team considering your salary is paid by them. I'm not paid by the Wild. I cover the Wild for the entirety of the season, and because of such, I tend to wait until absolutely necessary to react because 82 games is a long season. But at the same time, tonight is game 10. Game 10 is an eighth of the way through the season. 10 more games, they'll be at a full quarter through. And this team looks old. They look old. They look tired. And most concerningly of all is they don't look like they care.
Well, that's the next point I was going to bring up. I've been reserving judgment on the team because I really like to see how the players move and how they're talking and a lot of little things. That's human reaction. And I don't see much of that anymore. I think Hynes has lost the team already. And you see, because nobody's out there hustling other than Hinostroza, who that's just how he plays, a bundle of energy. But Hynes has no clue on his lines, which I've been talking about forever. And I believe he's lost the team. So you know what happens then? Only one thing can happen. The coach goes first because he can't fire the team. And I really think Hynes is on his last step. Why are we in last place? We can't score any 5-on-5. What do we got? 1-2 goals in 9 games?
The Wild have 10 5-on-5 goals in 9 games.
Yeah.
They are dead last in the NHL in 5-on-5 goals.
Well, that shows you a clear lack of talent. So things that I would do to fix this, and I've been thinking about this for a whole week, actually. I would keep Rossi, Boldy, and Kaprizov, my first line. I would bring up, I bring up Ogren, I put Europe in center, and I have Hunter Hayden on for my second line. Now that line, you can't tell me they're not going to produce as much as our second line right now, and they're only going to get better. And as I've said before, we got to give these kids a chance. You can't just play them 1 or 2 games and then send them down because they didn't do nothing. It doesn't work that way in hockey. I've been preaching, you got to give them 20 games and let them see what they got. And at this time, I'm going to have Seth pull up an Ogren interview before Washington to talk about exactly what I was talking about. It's vindication, really. And it's cool.
All right, let me get this ready here.
Yeah.
I'll go full screen with it. Is there no audio? I'm being told there's no audio.
There's no audio.
God damn it. Okay. Well, we're going to do, I have an idea.
Okay.
Stand by just 1 second. I just,
Yeah, we got a lot of time.
I'm going to run the audio off my phone. I just have to find the audio clip on my phone. So this happened before. I don't know why, because sometimes stuff plays just fine, but sometimes it doesn't. So I just gotta find it here. How's everybody feeling about the Sharks game tonight? 100% a get right game, right? The Wild are going to trounce the Sharks, and everything's going to be right back to fine. Wrong.
Don't believe that for a second. Celebrini and Smith are going off. Celebrini just had a 5-point game with a hat trick. You think he can't do that now too? Of course he can.
Yeah, he certainly can. I mean, this is Alex and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was actually this past week. You can't just bank on these points anymore.
Not in Central.
All right, I'm close. Again, apologies here. I was anticipating that this was going to work, and then it didn't. So I'm.
But at any rate, yeah, you know that at the very beginning of the season, I said I was very high on Utah, and I thought Chicago would get more than 20 points more this year than last. And it's looking exactly like that. Utah very well could win the division. Now, they just beat Colorado in one hell of a game. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I watch it because I love Utah. And I'm telling you what, they don't have any weaknesses. You know, when they picked up Nate Schmidt, that kind of solidified the back end for him. Picking up Paterka, even though he's only got 2 goals so far, that second line, their first line, and third, they're just loaded up. And, you know, Logan Cooley, who I said at the beginning of the year was going to really take off this year, well, he is. So everything that I thought would happen is happening. In Chicago, you watch them play, and oh, my God, Nazar is just a beast. And Sam Renzel, who was on the board when we picked Ogren, along with Snuggerud, is the only time that I disagreed with Judd Brackett for a pick, because I'm Minnesota boy. I want to pick Minnesota boys, and both of them being the Calder Cup running, and Ogren's sitting in Iowa. What does that tell you?
And he scored. Didn't he score his first shift back down with the Iowa Wild, Liam Ogren?
Yes, he did.
Of course he did.
We need to call him back up. We need to give him 20 games. Now wait till you listen to this interview. It's exactly what I was talking about. This really is a vindication for him.
Two more seconds. It's just
all right.
It's of course not playing. It's of course not cooperating, but we have workarounds for that. I need a new computer chair. Yikes. Okay. Here we go. Commercial, of course.
Well, at any rate, Trav made a couple of suggestions to me for things to talk about that I looked at. I'm definitely doing. And later in the show, I'm going to be talking about the good things that I see from Z. William, from Yeroff, and I even got a good one for the coach. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I did see something that I liked.
I got the audio ready, Denny.
Okay, shoot it. Let everybody hear this.
That Dallas game to kind of recharge the mind and body. How helpful was that?
Yeah, I think it's important. Obviously, you need to rest sometimes, and I think it was a great time after back-to-back games. So, yeah, it was good for us.
People look at you and see the way you shoot the puck, and you have an NHL shot. You're playing against the guy that might be the best in terms of NHL shot, and Alex Ovechkin. As a young kid, how much did you look up to him watching the game of hockey, and how much fun will it be to compete against him?
Yeah, it will be fun for sure. He's one of the greatest hockey players to ever play. So, and obviously the best scorer. So, no, it will be really fun. My first time playing against him. So, it's a little dream come true to play against him. Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about your game so far earlier in the year? It looks like you're building momentum with what you're doing individually.
Yeah, I feel better and better every game, and I feel like I can get some trust in me from the coaches and all that. So, no, I mean, I'm just trying to keep building and get better every day, and continue working on my game.
All right, there you have it.
All right. So, what did he say that was so important? Trust in his game. Hynes doesn't trust his game. And that's Ogren's way of saying it. You know, of course, he sent him down after that. You know, when you play not to make a mistake instead of playing to win hockey, there's a big difference. And when you're walking on eggshells out on the ice, you're not going to play good hockey. And that's the feeling that I get when Ogren is saying that, because that's really how it is. And I think that's why it's so important to give these kids 20 games, not 10, 20 games. Let them get going. Get a feeling for, the speed, the strength of the NHL player. And plus, they're a lot smarter, and you got to figure that stuff out as you go. And not having Europe on the second line definitely shows he can win the faceoff. He's very good at it. And the thing I like about his game the most is he's got a very good two-way game. He's well-versed. He closes the gaps. He's doing everything he should do. And down on the fourth line, you got to put him up on the second line. Put Hunter Haight up there. Get Ogren up there and let him play. Let the kids, have a kid line, because they'll definitely have the speed to bring the puck in, of which, is a real problem with the Wild. They're not very clean, and they just got to have a chance. And, it's getting to the point, being that we're in the last place, they got to do something right, and that would be one of them. And then, as I said at the beginning of the season, I really wanted to see Eck on third line with Hartman and Foligno. Well, when they put Foligno up on the second line, that's definitely out of his comfort zone. He's one of the very best grinders in the league. And you need players like Foligno to win a championship, but he's not a second-line player. He doesn't have the hands to begin with. If you ever watch him when he receives a pass, he never gets it clean because he doesn't have good hands. And that's why he should not be on the second line or on the power play, where I've seen him put him up there before. He's a third-line grinder, and he's one of the best at it. So that's what you put him in his comfort zone and let him play. And Eck, with Hartman and Foligno, it would be one hell of a shutdown line. I've been preaching about this since the beginning of the season. It's time that you guys do that. And then for the fourth line, Ben Jones is marginal, and
he's a 4A guy.
He's got speed. Yeah, he's got speed though. And with Hinostroza and Trennan, that's a pretty good fourth line. They're not going to score many goals, but what they will do is they'll get the puck up ice. And so when they peel off and you bring in the first line, the puck's already down in their end. And that's ideally what you want from a fourth line. I mean, they should get some goals, but the biggest thing is getting it down in their end. And I don't see any problems with that at all. I mean, I don't know what you fans think, but I certainly want to know. So if you got any ideas on that, yeah, shoot me a comment. How many people did the poll?
12 comments on the poll.
Okay. Well, let's go over it.
Yeah, I'm just getting to them here. God, why does YouTube make this so hard to get to this stuff? Oh, okay. JJ Bad Rado says for Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, Tarasenko, Hinostroza, and a lollipop.
Oh, please.
DJ Willie G Minneapolis says it would depend on how much they want, but I would listen. Ezekiel Lockhart says, I don't think Buffalo will trade either right now, but just for the question, for Tuck, first round pick, second round pick, Ogren, Height, and whatever other picks or whatnot to move the needle. For Thompson, 2 first rounders, a second, Ogren, Height, and whatever else needs to move the needle. That being said, I think this current team needs a head coach they can believe in. Urban says for both Ogren, Height, Lambos, every pick this year. For Tage, he says every pick this year and one of the above players. For Tuck, he says sign and trade Ogren, Lambos, and a first. Brandon Zink, this team's not worth sacrificing future assets now. Current roster needs to prove they can score at least 3 goals per game, which is average. Have a PK above 80% before we even think of making a move. Tuck and Thompson would be great additions to a good team and make them a great team, but they can't make a crappy team good.
Good point.
Ogren, Johansson, a first-round pick would be fair.
Okay.
And then the Iron Vibe says Rossi, Brodin, Ogren, and a first, maybe 2 firsts for those 2.
Well, to begin with, Tage Thompson was just kind of a spoof because Buffalo's not trading him, and I'll tell you why. He's got a 7-year contract, and he's like $4.75 million. They're not trading him, period. He's still got 4 years left on his contract. But with Alex Tuck, he's in the last year of his contract. He said he wants $10 million a year, and Buffalo said, we're not giving you $10 million a year. And Buffalo doesn't want to lose him for nothing. Tuck is on his way out. And the reason I say that is because when he says, I love it here in Buffalo, well, that's a kiss of death. Any player who always gets traded always says that. I mean, that's just the way it's been for years and years and years. So Alex Tuck can definitely be had because Buffalo doesn't want to lose him for nothing. But he's a 60 to 65 point player. He could hit 70. He's an excellent player, and he would help our second line tremendously. And if that meant giving up Ogren to get him in a first, I would do that. And anything else would be picks. I'm not deleting the team for one player. Tuck is an excellent player. He'd definitely help us. But I'm not giving up, on Judge Show, they're talking about giving up 7-8 players for him. I'm going, they're ridiculous.
You know what you want to hear what I want, Denny?
Yes, I want to hear what you want.
I want somebody moved off the roster. This team needs a shakeup from this current group that has been allowed to just live off of 0 expectations for the last 3 seasons. There is 0 repercussions for bad performances. There are 0 repercussions for bad starts. There is 0 sense of urgency with this team. There's the only player that I have heard step to the microphone and say, I need to be better is Brock Faber. I haven't heard anybody step to the microphone and say, my performance needs to be better. This team needs to be grabbed by the shoulders and shaken.
Can you believe what Seth just said? Unbelievable. This is the worst on my show.
This team needs to be thoroughly shaken out of the level of complacency and comfort that they have achieved over the last 3 years. And it's ironic that they have achieved such a level of comfort with doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Well, to begin with, Mojo, Bogo, and Tarasenko, they got to go. And you can always make a trade with a team. You know, Tarasenko's got what, 5 points, 4 assists, and a goal.
Yeah.
Mojo's got a couple of goals. They're not worthless. I mean, you can trade them while they have some value. And Bogo's a solid, steady defenseman who looks good on paper. I just don't like him because he's always losing his man on the backside or the weak side. And I've gone over that before too.
You know, it's funny too. That is the pairing that has been the statistical best. Again, I don't understand how this works. I don't understand how this continues to happen. But Zach Bogosian is part of the most successful D pairing for the Minnesota Wild this year. I don't get it. I don't understand it. All I'm saying is that is just a thing that has again happened this year. But yeah. I mean, like, it just the last straw for me. We hit the last straw for me against the New Jersey Devils. Notoriously not a big physical team. Notoriously not. They've got big players, but they don't play big. And they just pushed the Minnesota Wild around for a full game. Thoroughly pushed them around. And it led me to this point of, like, Bill Guerin hit one of his teammates in the side of the head with a stick at practice. That dude was insane when he played. And this team is soft. This team that he has built is soft. They're soft. They're fragile.
They're called the country club. They are, too. They're from around the league, that's the country club. Well, that all brings me to this. We got 3 players we can move to bring up the kids and play the kids. So we're in last place with the team that we have. So it only makes sense to move some pieces and see what we got. You know, and I've been saying this forever, and I got to keep saying until they play the kids, we're not getting any better. We're just not. You know, he's talking about New Jersey. THG has them ranked number 1 in the power rankings this
They're
week.
a fantastic team. They are real good.
And guess where they got Utah? Number 4. And,
Denny, you called that too. You called Utah being one of the surprises this year.
Yep.
And look at them.
Yeah, and guess where they got Chicago? They're almost top 10. Yes.
Well, and in the Lockdown Wild Central Division power rankings, I had Utah 2, Chicago 4, and many people on X said you're getting a little ahead of yourself, and I'm like,
oh no,
am I?
Chicago's loaded up too. The biggest thing that they lacked was a true 1A goaltender, but what's the name of the goaltender for the Chicago?
Spencer Knight.
Spencer Knight has been playing very well. And when they lose like 3-2. Yeah. They're in every game, and they skate like, they skate like to win. I really like what Chicago's doing, and I told you at the beginning of the season, I really think Nazer is going to be just a beast, and he has turned out to be just that. And Sam Renzel, he was a golfer and hell of a defenseman. God, I wish we would have picked him, but Chicago, smart as they are, they picked him. And he's just going to be a beast for years to come. He's going to be an all-star every year. He's got that much talent. He's 6'4", skates like the wind, he can shoot. He does everything right. And, of course, they're letting him play. If you make a mistake, you don't get sent down, which is the biggest deficit in the Wild regime for the kids. As soon as they make a mistake, they're gone. And you can't develop a team that way. Now, there's 2 ways of thinking about making a team together or bringing a team and putting it together for construction, we'll call it. You can do it with picks or you can do it with players. I will give up my picks for players any day of the week. With picks, you don't know what you have. You take half the first round picks don't make the NHL. What does that tell you? You don't really know.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of teams that do it that way. One is Las Vegas. The other is Florida. And look how they do. They give up all their picks for players, and that's exactly what I would do. I like to see what, I want to know what the player I'm trading for brings to the team. And that's why you pick a player instead of a pick, because a kid, you don't know what you got. It may take 2, 3, 4 years to develop. And you trade your picks for great players or players that will help your team win. And unfortunately, we're not really doing much of both. Our picks all go to other teams to become good. What does that say? Now, Cronin, because IOL just won their first game, hopefully he gets things turned around down there because, they were such a mess the last couple of years. Hopefully we see good things happening down there, but I can see Cronin stepping up and taking over this team by, I don't know, 20 games, 25 games.
Well, that would be, people ask me, like, who would you pick as the next coach? That's 100% what it'll be. It'll be Greg Cronin that is promoted to head coach. I would imagine, I don't have anything to confirm this, I would imagine that was part of the stipulation of him taking the Iowa job.
It very well could be, because Cronin's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
He improved the Anaheim Ducks by 21 points last year. It's the biggest jump in the league. They just had a difference of opinion on how to get better. And Anaheim has gotten a little bit heavier. And they picked up Kreider. Who's number one for net foot presence in the NHL? It's Kreider.
Really?
Yes, number one in the league. Guess who my next pick, just to change it up a little bit, besides Alex Tuch, and I brought this up before, is Anders Lee. He's in the last year of his contract with the Islanders. They've already said they're not going to re-sign him. Because they're going with the youth movement, and they got a new GM, and, they're doing well. The Islanders are playing well. But Anders Lee has 7 points in 7 games, the last time I looked. His net foot presence is number 5 in the NHL, and guess what we lack? Net foot presence.
I was going to say backbone, but your point is accurate too.
Yeah, it's the same thing, really. He's a Minnesota kid, and I would think he would like to end his career in Minnesota. I mean, most do. And he would be such an addition for us. And with Tuch, his contract right now is $4.75 million. And Anders Lee is $7 million. So we could get both of these players for under $12 million. And I think we can work that out. It'd be pretty easy to work out, actually. And I would give up for Tuch. You got to give up a number one, first off. And I'd probably give up a second and a player. And see what happens. I mean, Tuch is leaving Buffalo. And Buffalo does not want to lose him for nothing. And, Tuch was an original Minnesota Wild, and Vegas picked him when they had the expansion draft deal. And he would certainly help us. Same with Anders Lee. 2 additions, and I guarantee you we'd have a much better team because you know what? Any NHL team can stop the top line if they don't have to worry about anybody else. It's just too easy to stop one line. If you have 2 or 3 lines that you got to worry about, they can't do that. And right now, we're just a one-line team. So the only teams we're going to beat from here on out, as the way the team stands, are bad teams. Good teams, well, you see what New Jersey just did to us. They made us look ridiculous because we are. And, I've been saying this for a long time, and Bill's got to step aside. Hynes has to go. Let Judd Brockett take over, and let's bring up Cronin and see where it goes. Because this team is not going anywhere. And when you're playing all the old vets and not improving, that just shows poor management, as I've been saying. Now I want to get into some things that I've seen that are good. And this is because of Travis. And I try to look at the games and see some stuff that I really like. And I'm going to start with Wallstead. Against LA, in the second period, I don't know if any of you recall this, but they had a set play. LA was coming down, and instead of shooting it at the net, they shot it against the backboard and waiting for the carom, right? That was a set play. And Wallstead came out, got the puck, and just killed the play, just like that. That is really impressive because most young goalies would never do that. But that shows his world experience on the big stage. He was just cool, calm, and collected. And I don't know if any of you remember, but that was a set play that could have gone real bad, real quick.
Meanwhile, the Minnesota Wild give up a set play goal to the Washington Capitals. They lost the face-off. Literally went right to Alex Ovechkin, and it looked as though no Wild player had any clue what was coming.
And that's his bread and butter.
How about that Utah goal the other night where the puck caromed out to the front of the net, and there were 5 Wild skaters just staring at it?
Yep. No net front presence at all. And it's sad to see, but that's what happens when a team is not engaged. And that's why I honestly think Hynes is on his way out because they're done playing for him. And that's one of the things you see when he's lost his team. I don't know if you remember Mike Yeo or not, but he had one really good year, but he was not a people person. And eventually it caught up with him. People didn't want to hear what he had to say anymore, and they quit playing, and of course he was gone. Same thing with Hynes. They don't care what he says anymore. They're not engaged at all. And it's all proof in the pudding is their play. So, call me crazy because I know a lot of you will, but I'm telling you right now, I believe he's on his way out the door.
Danila Yurov's on the 4th line tonight again.
Yeah, of course. That's Hynes. Yeah.
Marcus Johansson, the new savior of the top line. You want to know why? The Minnesota Wild continue to go to Marcus Johansson anytime there is any sort of an issue?
Why?
It's because he's the only player on the team that has speed. That's 100% why. He's the only player that has speed on the roster.
He can bring it up the ice. Yes, he can. But what does he do with it? Nothing. That's the problem. He brings it up the ice, but once he gets there, he doesn't know what to do.
And I don't want to turn this into a bag fest. I will give him credit for the 2 goals against Utah. He had the nice one-timer from the face-off circle. Credit to him for hitting that shot. But I have also seen him take 20 of those that he has either whiffed on or missed.
Or he pushes it to the corner.
And so I am all for rewarding good performance, and I'm all good for giving players props when props are warranted. But we have seen this team over the last 4 years. We have seen 90% of the games that Marcus Johansson has played where there has been nothing that has happened.
Well, as I've said before, he's really good at skating up ice.
So, yes, he had a good game, but that's one good game. I've seen him play 70 other bad games. or just nondescript games. 2 years ago, he had 43 games with one shot or fewer.
Yep. We've talked about him a lot. It doesn't impress me. He shouldn't be on the team, period. He's taking up a kid's spot. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it. That's fine, but we got to play our kids. We got to see what we have. We really do. And we're not, the way Hynes is doing it, we're not going to ever see any kids. And that's just Hynes' play. He doesn't like the kids. Now, another thing I want to bring up that I really like what Urop is bringing to the table. He's got a really good two-way game. He's good in the dot. He's probably the best player on the team on the dot now. And the biggest thing with new players, especially centers, is you got to worry about the two-way game and how they handle it. He's doing just fine. He really deserves to be our second-line center. You know, the offense will come. It really will. It's just confidence is the biggest key. And Hynes does not give you confidence. But I will say this. Hynes against LA in the second period, at the end of the second period, he called out Urop in the fourth line in a very important draw. And I couldn't believe it. He actually put Urop in as the center. I called up the fourth line. And I was expecting, Eck or Rossi or, nobody but Urop. And he put him out there. And what he did by doing that gave him confidence. Well, I'm out here for this. Yeah. That's the biggest key with young kids is instilling confidence in them. And Hynes just isn't very good at it. He's a good coach. If he had a bunch of vets, he'd be fine. But this team is predicated on the kids now. And, it is what it is. That's why we're in last place. And for all you namesayers who dumped on me 2 weeks ago when I said this, now think about what you said and how much you know about hockey. Honestly, because some of you are pretty brutal to me. I even had a couple people call me hacks. Well, who's the hack now? Because you couldn't see it. I did. That's what 60 years of hockey brings you. I look at the game a little differently, and I hope you appreciate that. All right, what else we got? What were we going to do here? Oh, for defense. Why they keep putting Brodin with Faber it's a mistake as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what Hynes is thinking. You know what? Middleton and Faber have been together for a couple of years, and they were damn good together. They got a chemistry. You got to put Middleton back up with Faber, number one. That's the first thing. Spurgeon and Brodin should be double clutching with William and Jurasek. Yeah, pick your spots. Spurgeon and Brodin together is a very good defensive line. I know a lot of people don't like Brodin. I know a lot of people don't like Spurgeon. They're one hell of a defensive pair. What are the metrics for them? Do you have anything that we can show?
All of the 56 qualified D pairs in the NHL that have played 75 or more minutes together, Jared Spurgeon and Zeev Boyum are 52nd as far as goals against per 60 minutes goes.
No, that's not very good.
On the other side, Jonas Brodin and Brock Faber, they're 35th at 2.66. That's better, but not great. Those are the only two D pairs that the Wild have had play together enough to qualify. As far as just the Wild D pairs go, they got
to be at the bottom.
This. Zach Bogosian and David Juracek have played 12.7 minutes together. They are averaging 14.2 goals per 60 minutes.
What does that mean?
That is not a typo. They have 3 goals while they've been on the ice. The team scored 3 goals in 12 minutes.
That's not good at all.
What are some of the others here? Yeah, they have not. Middleton and Faber have played 22 minutes together with no goals against.
There you go.
Middleton
really
and Juracek have given up 2 goals in 45 minutes. 2.63 goals against per 60. So it's not terrible.
No.
But and they got cooked. That Utah game, Utah had 4.8 expected goals. The defense got torched in that game.
Yeah.
If you have an expected goals over 3, it means your defense is doing a bad job of defending. The only thing that they're really paid to do.
Well, like I say, the team is not engaged anymore. There's no passion in the play. They don't go the extra mile. A lot of people would say they're just out there playing, and that's why I say that Hynes has lost the team. It's simple as that, and it shows in statistics, and it shows in their play. And I don't know how much longer he can go on like this, but I don't see the Wild improving at all.
Well,
with this lineup,
I think it depends. I think it depends on what's going on above John Hynes. Does Bill Guerin think that there are issues with the roster? If you listen to him during the Devils game on the broadcast, he certainly didn't seem to think so.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's why he needs to step aside and let Judd Brackett take over. He really does, because Billy's hockey does not translate today like it did in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It just doesn't. Speed and skill is what happens for good hockey teams today. And we have very little of both. If it wasn't for Kaprizov, we'd be the worst team in the league. And we very well may end up being the worst team in the league, because you've seen all the young kids get going. Now we get to see Celebrini and Smith, and boy, they're on fire. They're a joy to watch. I watched the highlights, and oh, Jesus. Of course, you knew that was going to happen anyway, but yeah, we're going to get to see some spectacular kids playing. And guess what? When they made a bad move, guess what they did? Nothing. They let them keep playing and learn from it, instead of getting sent to Iowa.
I would say, if not for Matt Boldy, the team would be awful. Kirill, of his 5 goals, 4 have been on the power play. Of his 6 assists, 3 of them have been on the power play. So 7 of his 11 points have come on the power play. Yep. He has just 1 goal and 4 assists in even strength this year.
Yep, I know. He's not the Kirill that we know. I don't think he's very happy with the team either. And the only way that players can get rid of a coach, and I've talked about this before with Dino, is you go out there and you play, but you don't put your heart into it. There's no passion. You don't go the extra mile to make a play. They're just out there going through the motions, basically. And that's what Kaprizov's doing right now. Because he can do anything he wants with that puck, and he's not doing much. And that's just a clear indication that he's not engaged either. And please, if you're going to say bad things about me in the comments about it, that's okay. Just don't tell me to get off the air, okay? That's not fair. Because, you really beat me up 2 weeks ago. The fun thing is, I really like that I got 127 comments. That's impressive as hell. Well, another thing I wanted to bring up, I was a guest on another hockey podcast last week, and they've asked me to come on once a week to give my interpretation of what's going on around the NHL. And I'm thinking about doing it. He comes on at 11 o'clock at night, which I'm not crazy about it. But I'm thinking about doing it. His whole gig is about betting. And last year, his podcast won as the best podcast for picking bets.
Wow.
His name is Perlo. And he's been on with Saravelli and all the big shots. I mean, he knows everybody. And to ask me to come on his show, it's pretty special. It's my very first one. So I am moving up the chain a little bit, which is cool because, anytime you wanted to be on a show, it feels good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have. Go ahead.
Sorry, finish your thought. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So I'm thinking about doing it. I don't know. We've talked offline, on the phone for a couple hours, and just to get a feeling of what he wants to do or what he wants me to do before I say yes or no. But it's looking like I may do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good opportunity for sure.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we got any questions or comments for the show? It's that time.
we got a couple questions.
Okay.
I think we covered a few of them. John wants to know why Faber is not being involved in the offense and is coaching responsible for his poor start.
Well, that's all Hynes. He's taken him out of his game completely. There's nothing wrong with Brock Faber running the offense last year. He's only getting smarter. The thing with Brock Faber is they're playing him 25 minutes a game, and you can't do that. You just can't do it. There are very few players that can play 25 minutes a game, and he's not one of them. He got mind block after a while. He started making rookie mistakes. That's all because he's tired. You got to keep him at 20 minutes or less. 20 minutes is actually perfect for him, I think. And let him play his game. He's not playing his game right now, and that's a coaching decision. What else can I say? Next.
I legitimately feel awful for Brock because it's pretty evident that he does not take losing well. And so he's beating himself up about it pretty bad. But, some of the other stuff that I see, like there was a goal given up. I think it was the Utah game. I can't really recall at this point because they all bleed together. They lose the same way every game. But there was a goal given up. Actually, it was the Utah game. There was a goal given up, and Spurge got the puck in front of the net, and he rifled it into the boards. And I laughed. Like, that's so he saw some frustration. We saw some frustration with getting caved by another team. Like, I just don't get the sense that there is any level of urgency because honestly, I think the biggest tension point for Craig Leopold, for Bill Guerin, for John Hynes was getting the Kaprizov deal done. I don't know if there is anything after that point that has even been looked at as far as like, what's our next objective? Because if you recall when Kaprizov said no, Billy looked like he hadn't slept in a month after that happened when he was on public camera. He didn't look like he had slept in a month.
Yeah. But
once the deal got done, everybody just kind of eased off. Okay, it's done. The deal's done. I don't see any sense of urgency as to the start. I don't see any sense of, I see a lot of, well, we've done it before. We'll just do it again. Guess what? Pretty much every team in the West has gotten tougher.
And faster.
Yeah. And I don't know, all the way up to the top. Like, if they don't make the playoffs this year, who's going to be called to the carpet for that? Will it be the players? Will it be John Hynes? Will it be Bill Guerin? I don't know. I don't know I don't know who other than the young players. I don't know who takes the fall for that.
Well, he's the president, and when you're the president, the buck stops with Billy.
I agree.
There you go. And I've been saying this for a long time, and I'm not, I hate getting into it because, Trav brought up a good that I have to stop bringing up Hynes. and Billy stuff. But when I look at the game today, I don't see much that I can say good about it. Believe me, I'm looking.
No,
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure nobody caught the Wallstead deal off the boards today. I mean, he just went out of the crease, got the puck. But that was a set play that we would have been in big trouble if he didn't do that. Because Gus wouldn't do that.
Punished for that. Surprised didn't get punished for coming out of the crease to field that puck.
Yes. And then when Hynes put in Europe, as I said, in the second period there, late in the game, that's called coaching up. That gives players confidence, and that's what this all about when you hit the NHL levels, confidence. Can I do this? And Hynes repeatedly hits you down instead of putting you up. And I'm going to say it. Well, I've already said it. He's on his way out. And when you see what San Jose does to us, I think you're going to understand why, because those kids are flying. And we don't have anybody to keep up with them. I mean, they're as fun to watch as Utah, although San Jose doesn't have the defense to win many games. But you watch the Celebrini kid and Smith, and oh, Jesus, they are just fun to watch. I mean, they go up and down that ice like wind. And I don't expect the Wild to win against San Jose. And actually, on Judge Show, I looked at the next 15 games and I only saw 2 or 3 wins. I'm not so sure that we're going to beat San Jose because they're starting to click.
No bankable games anymore. There's no we play Chicago, so we'll be guaranteed to beat them.
Well, actually, everybody's looking at Minnesota as a bankable game now. That's how bad it is.
Touche.
You know, I talked to a lot of hockey people up in Canada, and they're going, what the hell happened to Minnesota? And I said, well, you pretty much know my feelings on the whole thing because, you know, we talk a lot. But it's all coming true. And, you know, it's time for a change, period. That's all I'm going to say about it. Any more questions?
Let me just check here. Oh, Dylan wants to know. Well, Dylan wants to know why some of the teams in the West that were playoff teams, or just in general, why are some of the playoff teams from last year at the bottom of the standings this year?
Because they didn't improve. I mean, you look at Chicago, you look at Utah, you look at Seattle. Seattle's playing really good too. They all improved. And what did we get? We got Tarasenko. What else is there to say? Oh, God.
And to this point, too, like the point that Ace brings up, like, would there be a scenario where we could make a big haul to get a young player such as a Celebrini? This is why I've talked about like how hard it is to fix that second line problem, is because once teams get those types of guys at the top of the lineup, they rarely let go of them.
Yeah, they keep them. For us, and I'm going to start looking at centers that should become available. And I looked at Calgary because, you know, they're in last place. And I looked at every member of their team, and other than Rasmus Anderson, I wouldn't trade for any of them.
No, that is not a good Calgary roster.
No, they're terrible. And we don't need defense. We need offense. The defense will work itself out. I'm convinced of that. But we need, we need a couple of forwards who can score points. And that's why I'm coming back. Anders, Lee, and Tucker can be made, and we should do it. And if it means giving up a couple kids, so what? I want players that can play. I don't want to have to deal with this kid could be good in a year or two. I want players that can play. And like I said, Vegas does that and Florida does that. Look where they're at.
Yeah.
I'm at the same old.
You don't have to draft anybody if your contention window just stays open.
Yep.
Now,
So
will
I think
Vegas potentially pay for it later? Sure, but they haven't
well,
yet.
They've been saying that for years, and it hasn't happened.
They haven't paid for it yet.
And they run, as you said before, Seth, they run their team as a business. There's no country club in Vegas if you're not putting out your history.
Even if you are, if there's a way for them to get better,
they will.
They have no problem shipping you out.
Yep. Vegas had Alex Tuck, and they moved them. I forget what they got back for him.
That was in the Eichel trade, wasn't it?
No, it was before the Eichel trade. Buffalo still had Eichel. I forget what they gave up, but I should check that out. Maybe somebody knows in the fan base here. I don't know. I'm getting too old to think to remember stuff like that. I have a hard time just keeping up with the Wild now.
Ace says Tuck was the Eichel trade.
It was?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that does sound correct.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ace. I'm just an old man now, and my mind isn't what it used to be. At least I still have my mind. And dementia is hell. And I'm very lucky to be where I'm at right now, because most people would be sitting in assisted living area looking at the walls. So I've made it this far, and things are going good, and I'm happy as hell. And I'm just glad. Go ahead.
Again, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
On the John Hynes front, I have come up with a fun game that Alex and I are going to play for tomorrow's episode. I'm going to take post-game snippets from the entirety of the John Hynes tenure here.
Yeah.
Nashville and New Jersey. And we're going to read them off, and Alex is going to have to guess if it happened here, Nashville, or New Jersey.
Well, that'll be a good one.
Because they are literally, his pressers are literally cookie cutter copies of each time he says something.
One thing you people got to understand, Alex Micheletti is a plethora of information. I'm not kidding. He's really good. We're lucky to have him on Locked On a While with Seth. And, that's the way it is. We got somebody who's really good. I mean, he's this, what do they call it? Block off the old shoulder of the dad?
Chip off the old block.
Yeah, chip off the old block. There you go. Because he really is. He's a plethora of information. And, he's fun listening to. And with that, trying to think. Who should I give a what the hell am I smoking to? I'm going to give to John Hynes this week for his ridiculous lineups. I can't see any other reason not to. So, yeah, Hynes, you get the what the hell are you smoking? And right now I'm smoking Gorilla Glue. You might want to try some. With that, guys, we'll see you next Sunday.
Yes, I have men's hockey at home, so I will not be going anywhere for the weekend.
Okay, so we're on at noon then?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and I will have a new poll come out. I want to do a poll every week. And a couple of you had some good responses. Most were ridiculous. And no reason to go over them. But Anders Lee, and I'm going to try and find another player that we can trade for that's in his last year of this contract. Because we need help. And Tuck and Anders Lee would really help us. And they can be gotten. That's my thoughts for today.
First step to solving a problem is admitting there is one. So that is that's what I'm looking for the Wild this week is let's get some acknowledgement that things are not going well and that something needs to change.
Well, you're not going to get that from Billy. He loves this team.
Oh.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.